He was invisible to most. Just a janitor in a faded khaki uniform, with rough hands shaped by labor. But to the grand piano tucked away in the hotel lobby, he was a shadow of something once extraordinary, a ghost of a forgotten life. Each night, after the last guest drifted away and the chandeliers dimmed, he would wipe the dust from the black and white keys. His hands would linger, as though remembering a time they truly belonged there. Nobody ever asked his name. Nobody noticed the way his eyes rested too long on the Steinway. Nobody, until she did. Before we go on, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of hidden talent, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness. Your support allows us to share more uplifting stories that inspire hearts everywhere. Her name was Veronica Langford. Sharp, commanding, breathtaking. She was the CEO of a luxury hotel empire, admired as much for her poise as for her ruthless edge. She walked like the world itself bowed beneath her heels, and in many ways, it did. One evening, during a routine inspection, she heard the janitor humming softly beside the piano. An amused smile curved her lips. "Do you even know what that is?" she asked, her tone dripping with condescension. The janitor, David, lifted his eyes without flinching. "Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major," he said quietly, though inside his chest, his heart pounded with the weight of unspoken years. Veronica laughed. A cold, hollow laugh. "If you can actually play Chopin," she sneered, "I'll marry you." It was meant as mockery, not challenge. But David's steady gaze never faltered. She turned on her heel before he could reply, unaware that her careless words had cracked open a door, sealed by decades of silence. David's past was stitched together by broken melodies. Once, he had been a prodigy. Trained at a prestigious European conservatory, a rising star destined for brilliance. Then tragedy struck. A car accident stole his mother, his scholarship, and the piano that had been his lifeline. With nowhere to go, he slipped into homelessness. Scrubbing floors became his survival, not because he lacked genius, but because the world had no patience for shattered dreams. His only comfort came in secret moments, fingers brushing the keys, pretending he still belonged to music. That night, her mocking words haunted him. A cruel joke, yes, but also a spark. A sliver of light seeping into the darkness. For days he practiced in secret, coming in before dawn and staying long after everyone left. At first, his fingers fumbled, clumsy with rust. Slowly, painfully, the music returned. Not merely notes, but memory, hope, the heartbeat of a soul rediscovered. A week later, Veronica returned for a high-profile fundraiser. The lobby brimmed with glittering gowns and polished tuxedos. A jazz trio was supposed to perform, but an unexpected cancellation left the Steinway untouched. And in that silence, David found his moment. He set aside his apron and gloves, walked to the bench, and sat. Guests assumed he was adjusting the piano. But then his fingers touched the keys. And the lobby changed forever. The haunting beauty of Chopin poured out like a prayer long forgotten. Conversations died mid-sentence. Glasses froze in midair. Veronica turned sharply, her eyes narrowing in disbelief as the janitor, her janitor, commanded the room with nothing but his hands and his heart. The music carried pain and love, loss and redemption, woven into every phrase. The lobby became a sanctuary of sound. Some guests wept without knowing why. Veronica stood rooted, pale and breathless, stripped of words for the first time in years. When the last note faded, silence lingered, sacred and heavy. Then came the applause. Hesitant at first, then thunderous, overwhelming. David didn't smile. He bowed slightly and walked away, leaving the music to say all that needed saying. Later, Veronica approached him, her usual steel shaken. "Why didn't you ever tell anyone?" she whispered. David's answer was simple. "No one ever asked." Her eyes shimmered with something dangerously close to regret. But he wasn't waiting for her apology. She had thrown out a cruel jest about marriage. He had answered not with words, but with dignity. From that day forward, David never wore a janitor's uniform again. Veronica offered him a permanent role as the hotel's resident pianist. But more than that, she changed. Softer, gentler, humbled. Sometimes she would sit beside the piano as he played, listening not just with her ears, but with her heart. If this story touched you, please give it a like, Share it with someone who needs a reminder of hope, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness for more inspiring stories. Every view, every comment, every share helps us spread kindness where it's needed most. Before you go, tell us in the comments. What would you have done if you were in David's shoes? We'd love to hear your thoughts.